Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the All Around Growth Podcast. Do you ever feel like you need a kickstart to your day? Well, my friends, I can tell you that, like Dave Ramsey says, I've been there, done that, and I've got the t-shirt. There's been many a day where I needed a kickstart to my day. And hopefully, this episode of the show serves as a kickstart to yours. Welcome to the 93rd episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. This is a show where we focus on building the lives of our dreams. I say we and our dreams because much of the show content comes from you. So how does that work exactly? Well, it's simple. Just join the community over at t.me/allaroundgrowth. If you're on a computer, go to your internet browser, t.me/allaroundgrowth. Join the community. If you have Telegram Messenger on your phone or tablet, search for the group All Around Growth in the groups and you will find us there. Engage with myself and others who are building the awesome community that we are. So it's simple. I mean, we're all just basically walking each other home in life. So let's do it in a healthy, positive, and beneficial way. And do it at t.me/allaroundgrowth. Now, like I said, this is episode number 93 of the show. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Monday, February 8th, 2021, and the title of today's show is Finding Your Rudder. So why this title, and what does this mean? What am I getting at here? Well, after the financial and physical show topics last week, both of which are linked to in the show notes, decided that this morning's topic would be on personal development. And the idea of a ship without a rudder kind of came to me while I was walking the dog this morning, this brisk 7-degree morning. And this idea of a ship without a rudder has kind of been a dominating thought lately, okay? And what I mean by that is I've been doing the work in many aspects of life to build a strong foundation, to build a strong ship, learning good principles and applying them in life, eating healthy, trying to engage in some exercise and some movement, reading good content, just trying to be a good steward of life, if you will. But I'm struggling with my purpose, my direction. I'm struggling trying to find or build the rudder to my ship. My father's comments, they kind of haunt me. And he told me in a conversation that we had several months ago that it would behoove me to find my purpose and make sure that it did not include the land in which we live. So that's interesting, and I am actively doing that. And this idea of finding my purpose has, prompted and facilitated those thoughts of, finding my rudder. So after stumbling across this show topic, like I do, which is, part of my morning routine when I figure out the show topic. So for whatever reason, this morning. A couple things happened after this. Now, for whatever reason, I decided that I would look at the book that I received for free after joining the 48 Days Eagles community. And it was a book called The Rudder of the Day, written by Dan Miller, that is, author of 48 Days to the Work and Life You Love, newest version. And I probably picked it up because the rudder of the ship is likely being prompted. Now, before I think before he released that book, maybe he had talked about it and kind of planted that seed in my mind and the minds of many other audience members of him over the past few months as we led up to the release of this book. But I have yet to read it. I've yet to actually open it up. So I decided to do so this morning for some additional inspiration, since this was the decided topic of the day. And I thumbed through the first couple of pages of the table of contents to the introduction. And the introduction read as follows. And man, this morning the timing couldn't be any more perfect as I get up to the stop sign and prepare to read you this quote. Quote, Henry Ward Beecher said, "The first hour is the rudder of the day, the golden hour. Since I have discovered that principle, I have seen its truth in many ways. Be very careful about how you start your morning. You are planting the seeds for what the day will hold." Now, that quote continued, but I stopped the quote right there, and I put the book down. I know already that this is going to be a great book with good little nuggets of wisdom, but what I read in that quote, it was so good that I put the book down to begin journaling and collecting my thoughts for the show notes, which consist of what drives the very thing that we are speaking about and listening to right now. Now, went ahead, continued my morning routine, had my coffee, did my journaling, and at this point, I actually sat down to engage in my priority work first, which is keeping up to date on my bookkeeping. And this is important to me. So if other things need to be sacrificed in order to make the time to do this, then so be it. But I am continuing to wake up earlier and earlier so I can get up in the mornings, have some good time, quality time, in order to execute and get things done, which means waking up at 4:30 to get to my day job by 8 o'clock when business hours open. Now, as I sat down to type out my bullet points after all of this, I decided to look briefly at the All Around Growth Twitter feed before doing so, and I read, "If you are in a negative environment, take a fresh look at yourself. Define where you want to be and develop a clear plan of action for getting there." And ironically, or unironically enough, that was a tweet from the 48 Days team. And I have linked to that tweet in the show notes. So if you are a Twitter user, then by all means go to the show notes, check it out. You will see in large part, much of what I have talked about, much of my talking points there, along with the links that I am referencing in everything that I'm talking about, or at least as many things as I can include. A simple search on DuckDuckGo start page or your search engine of choice will find the rest for you, or help give you the tools to do so, if you will. So when I read this tweet this morning, I realized that I'm developing a plan. I'm actively doing that, and that's part of what this podcast is all about. And it helped me ask myself the question, is this environment that I'm currently in negative? Is it positive? Is it where I want to be? Are you where you want to be? Ask yourself that question. Where are you at? And how do you determine this anyways? What are your metrics? How do we do this? The bottom line is, if you find yourself waking up in the mornings not enthusiastic about how you are approaching life, then chances are your environment is negative. Now, there are ways to be present in a negative environment and still maintain a positive attitude. And maybe that situation can even be healthy, positive, and beneficial if we choose to frame it that way. There may be enough pros to outweigh the cons that warrant us remaining in this toxic environment. However, there may also be more cons than outweigh the pros. And if that is the case, I am pleased to tell you that you do have options. You can begin making a plan. You have control over your own life, and it all begins with the understanding that you do. There's a number of ways that we can go about finding our rudder in life. And we will continue to learn about those ways as we continue to explore these 7 categories that we are utilizing for our goal setting purposes, because that's going to give us the content base and the breadth of knowledge that we need in order to grow ourselves and fully embrace the mindset that we need to make the progress that we want, so that we can accomplish the goals that we have and continue setting more for the future. Because that is what we need to do if we really want to live a life that embraces these concepts of all-around growth. And that's what this show is all about. We talk about things like your morning routine, physical wellness, financial peace, ignorance and vulnerability, substance abuse and addiction, motivational horse shit, and even boundaries. All of this stuff is real life stuff. It's difficult, it's not easy to talk about, but the more we confront it, the more we embrace the challenging subjects, the more we come to grips with the fact that we are not weak for doing so, but strong for learning how to do so in a healthy, non-violent manner. All of this is an indicator that we are on the right track. So, if some of this sounds familiar, some of this sounds like ideas and concepts that you want to get down with as well, go to the show notes. Links to all of that: morning routine, physical wellness, financial peace, ignorance and vulnerability, substance abuse and addiction, motivational horseshit, boundaries, all of that stuff and more. It's all linked to in the show notes. Easy to reference for you, because all of this is just an attempt to freely give back what was so readily available and freely given to me. All right, so hopefully this show was of some kind of value to you. And if you think that it was and would like to hear more and support the show in some way, shape, or form, then I would like to encourage you to go to the very bottom of the show notes, and you'll see a link that says click here to rate and review the podcast in big capital letters. Click that link. It'll take you to Apple Podcasts, where you can quickly leave a 5-star rating or review. And at this point in time, that's where we are obtaining the most of the listens through, and that's what affects the algorithms the most. If you feel so inclined, also, by all means, give a little rating on your podcast player of choice. That's also helpful. If you have any questions or feedback for me, the best way to get in touch with me and the rest of the group is over in the Telegram Messenger app. Definitely check it out. We have more listeners and more downloads than we do users in the group. So if you're not there, get over there. That's right, I'm talking to you. Join the community. t.me/allaroundgrowth. If you've got the Telegram Messenger app on your phone, you can simply find it at All Around Growth. That's the name of the podcast. That's the name of the group. We'd love to see you there, and we look forward to the time when you are there and contributing to the show as much as others like Andy and Steph. You guys have been here from the very start. You guys are still here. I appreciate you. The show wouldn't be what it is without you. So thank you. And that's it, guys. This is Rob Kaiser. I appreciate you listening to the show. I sincerely appreciate your time. I hope you have a great day and a great week. Thank you.